Good evening. Hello. Are still people waiting in the room? Okay. Yes, so hello everyone. Still some people are still connecting to the audio. Who is already here? We will start in about like 2 or 3 minutes because there's still people in the waiting room. So we wait a little bit. Meanwhile, if you want, you can write "Where are you from?" into the chat. That's what people often do, and I think it's quite interesting from where we are. Have visitors today. I'm myself from Munich at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm Aksha, and I'm from Braunschweig, a tiny city in Germany.
Hi, I'm Raghav. I'm first time here, and I'm originally from Delhi, India, and it's been 6 years in US. So I spent my 3 years in New York and 3 years here in Bay Area. So I'm
That's
from
amazing.
San Jose here.
Yeah, great.
Hi,
Thank
my
you.
name's Sandy, and I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Hello.
Aber ich lebe in Deutschland, München für 4 Jahre.
Ah, yeah, great. Yeah, it's a great city, right? To
It
stay
is a
here.
great city. I enjoy it. The people are very nice. Their own
Yes.
unique way.
But well, I think I'm a little bit too long stuck here in Munich due to the pandemic. I was like too long at home. I should travel again, honestly. So let's see what we will find out today, right?
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, we have people like, yeah, from, okay, India, California, Scottsdale, Arizona, Canada. Okay, there's still people waiting. So we are like 40 people now already.
Hi, I'm Tana. I'm American and been living in Germany for 12 years now.
Ah, so you speak German, actually.
Ja, ein bisschen.
Ein bisschen, okay, great. But today it's in English, so I also have to stick to English today. Let's see if I can do it. I hope so.
I think with the pandemic, it's been a while since everybody spoke English. So I think we all,
Yeah,
all got stuck in our German homes.
That's true. So, okay. Yes, as German, I want to start on time, but I think we still wait like 1 or 2 minutes. So we have like the right amount of people, or like 43 people now. That's great. Still someone in the meeting room. I already need some water. Okay. So. Okay, I just think.
Making the rich parts of the country poorer.
That was an attempt to reassure Tories in the South, worried political focus has shifted further north. He said investment across the board was vital in public services, transport, towns, even football pitches. You painted a pretty clear picture today about the impact.
I think someone is not muted. Okay, no. Okay, great.
Should we do some small talk? I know it's not a German thing, but maybe Germans are always a bit struggling with that. There are some Americans, maybe they can start doing some small talk too.
Well, honestly, I would just like to start like
Okay.
just, yeah, slowly. But we can have a talk in the end of the webinar. So we have like the questions round. Let's see if we can find out more about the people here. But I just, yeah, had to admit some more people, and I think we're almost 50. So I think we just start, right? Okay, oh, still someone. Okay, now we start.
We start, Robin?
Yes, we start, I would say, right?
Perfect.
Sufficient number of people here.
Perfect. So yeah, welcome to our very exclusive Trip Leader Travel Talk. So today we are going to show you how to use JoinMyTrip to set up your perfect trip, and also how to find your perfect trip mates, or as we call them, friends you haven't met yet. But first, we would like to briefly introduce ourselves. My name is Akshaya, and I work for JoinMyTrip, and I've been here for a couple of months now. So I can definitely say that I do have some tips and tricks for you all. And I will be presenting with my lovely co-host, Robin.
Yes, that's me. Thanks for the introduction. And like actually, I've been working here for a couple of months now, so I'm happy to support her tonight.
Perfect. So before we start, we would kindly ask you to stay muted during the presentation. You will find the mute button on the left corner of your screen. Certainly, you can ask us questions during the travel talk in the chat. Please use the chat respectfully. And if you want to share your reactions during the talk, feel free to do so. You'll find that in the bottom middle of your screen. So let's give it a try. So how are you all feeling? Are you ready tonight?
Yes.
Can you now hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just figuring out my screen. I will mute again.
No problem. Okay. We just continue. No problem.
So, but first of all, some of you might ask yourself, what is JoinMyTrip? So, Robin, what can you tell us more about JoinMyTrip?
Yes, well, so I guess some of you might know the situation, want to travel, but friends or family do not have the time or the money or have different destinations in mind than you do. So we have created JoinMyTrip. That's a platform with a really straightforward concept. We connect travelers from all over the globe to go on trips together, that they can see the world with their own eyes. So wherever you want to go, and whatever your style of travel is, whatever is hotel or it's camping, we make sure that everyone will find his or her perfect travel group and the perfect destination.
Perfect. So thanks for the high-level introduction, Robin. So now, how does it work? So on one hand, we have the trip leaders who love to plan and organize while also earning some money with it and publishes his or her trip on our platform. And on the other hand, we have the trip mates who enjoy traveling in a group of like-minded travelers. So Robin, would you be happy to show what a trip actually looks like?
Yes, that's my favorite part. So you can see some trips of the past from our platform. Our community is huge. We have already over 140,000 members, and we are, of course, still growing. So you can check out a link to our website in the chat now. Our colleague will post it here. And I hope now you get kind of roughly an idea what JoinMyTrip actually is. If not, we have a questions round in the end. There you can ask us again. Or maybe some questions will now clarify in the webinar here. So Akshaya, feel free to start with our travel talk, right?
Perfect. So the goal of this travel talk is to make sure that you find travel buddies quickly and easily.
So yes, one thing we learned in the past that it doesn't matter actually where you go, it does matter who you go with. So you can stuck in a small hut in the middle of nowhere, but you can have the best time with the right people. I think everybody of us has already experienced kind of a situation like that. And this is where we're going to share our top tips on how to find your perfect trip mates or travel partners. So I think most of all, it's all about expectations. So the trip experience you have will heavily depend on the group you choose to come with you, but also make sure to set the expectations right. So if you planned like a super relaxed vacation on the beach, or if you want to have like explore the area for one day, or you want to go hiking, I think that's also important for your people to know what kind of trip you want to plan.
Perfect. So the next one is the requirements. So you can also state in the description if specific skills are needed for some of your activities, like for example, diving or climbing.
Yes, and another thing we have experienced from our travel groups is language. So if you have like an international group, of course, that's great. You have so many cultures together, but also make sure that you get kind of a good mix or stick to one language at least. For example, otherwise people might feel excluded. For example, if you have really a group of Dutch people and there's one German in it, okay, we can understand a little bit of Dutch, but they will stick to Dutch at some point and you feel maybe a little bit excluded. So make sure that you have at least two persons who speak the same language. Or if everyone talks English, it's also fine, of course.
And lastly, I think this I mean, not lastly, but then most important thing is to get to know each other. So you are the trip leader. So it's your trip and you decide who you take with you. So before you accept a request from someone, make sure you have a call to see if that they would be a good fit for your trip.
Yes, and last but not least, we have the commitment. This is also an important advantage of our platform, actually, because if you want committed TripMates, make sure to accept them officially through platform. And we recommend, of course, that you handle everything using JoinMyTrip. This way, we can guarantee that the payments are safe and secure, and you are assured that those who travel with you are really coming to the trip. Like if they've paid already, they will also come to you, because I think everyone kind of also knows another situation that people say, oh yeah, let's go on a trip together, like in 2 months, but then people say, oh no, I don't have time anymore, etc., and they don't come with you. And with this, especially, you have the commitment from the people. So, but I think we will also more talk about this later. So, Akshaya, how do we get started on the platform?
Perfect. So the most important part is your profile on our platform. So Pimp it. Everyone always checks out profiles. So in order for people to get to know you, write some lines about yourself and make sure you answer the provided questions. So this way, people will already know a bit about you and are therefore very likely to join your trip. Secondly, like it is to keep in mind for the future, we also have a super leader badge. So TripLeaders from our community get to become a super leader, and you have to offer at least 4 trips and you'll receive a minimum of 5 reviews from your trip mates.
Yes, but let's start at the very beginning. So we're showing you how to set up a trip on our platform. So we'll guide you through the progress quickly so that you're familiar with every feature we've implemented. First of all, just click on offer a trip on our website. We posted it in the chat before. And the first thing you will ask yourself, is your departure date flexible or fixed? So have you kind of a time period where you are available to make this trip? Let's say you have like time the whole August and you want to travel 1 week, but you don't know yet which week will it be for you. So you can make the flexible or fix if you know the dates already. So after you choose your dates, you can choose categories your trips belong to. For example, like the beach. Is it more a city tour? Or is it more a cultural trip? So this way, potential trip mates already know what you're going for. And again, this is always about expectations in the end. So we have also different kind of trips. And as a trip leader, you will most likely go for a guided trip. A team trip is not fixed, and you have also agree on parts of the trip with your trip mates. And last but not least, we have the co-working trips, which we also talk about later on. So then first things first, right, AK?
Yes, absolutely. So what can you do to make your trip interesting and attractive? So the title and the description of your trip is very, very important. So make sure your trip has a catchy name and already reveals what it's about. So use the description to introduce yourself, give details about your plan, state what your expectations are and what your trip mates can expect from you. So in general, the more details you provide, the better. So speaking about details, let's add some stops, Robin.
Yes, I just saw a question at chat. She asked, can you paid doing this? Actually, yes, you can get paid doing this. But I just want to mention again, our platform, this is all private individuals. So those are not like tour guides or something. This everyone can publish a trip and be a trip leader. And you just organize a trip for a group of people you don't know yet privately. And you can also add a trip leader fee. So yes, you can earn money with it. We will come to that point in some slides again. But this is how it works basically. Yeah. So where have you been? So it's about the stops. The stops are important as they will give a good overview of the places you will visit, as well as the schedule. So another important part of the whole trip setup, let's call it, are the pictures. So they will make a big difference in the appearance of your trip. So make use of them. Some stops already have pictures included. And you can add a personal touch if you've been to the location before, and you can therefore upload like your own pictures. Alternatively, Unsplash and Pixabay, they're really good sources where you will get amazing free pics. And we will post the links now to the chat. Like I said, you can freely use those pictures from those websites on our platform, and you don't have to give credit or anything because yeah, as you all know, like nowadays it's a little bit tricky with laws and the copyright things in the internet. So make sure you use pictures from these platforms. So, but I guess more details also matter, right?
Yes, and that's why in the top description, you will let your trip mates know that you're planning to do and how long you want to stay. So Mark, also, which means transport, the group will switch from one location to another. Keep in mind that the total length of your trip is defined by all days of the stop. So after you have added all these stops where you're going, you should also take care of how you are going to stay there.
Yes, that's right. And now we come to the point of accommodation. So the next step is basically you describe where you're going to stay during your trip. So let your trip mates know where you plan to stay by adding some information in your trip description. And if you have already a specific accommodation in mind, you can share it. Otherwise, it's sufficient just to add what kind of accommodation you plan on booking. So your trip mates know what you expect. Remember the expectations. So do you want to go for a luxury hotel, maybe a hostel or Airbnb flat? Let them know if the rooms are shared or not. This is also important, or can be important for some people, especially if it's a co-working trip. So next up, calculating the trip costs. So as a trip leader, as we said already, you're basically the organizer of the whole trip. It can be really convenient being a trip mate because you just simply join a fully organized trip from someone who just had fun planning it, basically, or like the time to do it. So if you calculate the trip cost as trip leader for your trip mates, then be as precise as possible, because this can avoid some unpleasant situations where you have to ask for more money during the trip. So really see that you dedicate some time into this. And really use, we definitely recommend using the cost calculator on our platform. So it will help you to keep in mind everything, like what is most important for the trips. Of course, you don't have to take into account everything. For example, the flights usually are not included. Like the trip calculation should basically start from the point where you go, where we start travel or where you meet, basically. So flights are usually not included, but like I said, the rest. And for example, you can simply add here the cost for accommodation and transportation per person.
So we also highly recommend adding a buffer to your cost. So from our experience, 5 to 10% is usually sufficient for you to plan accordingly. So remember trip leader fee, like it was asked in the chat. So is what your trip mates pay you for organizing the trip. So it is up to you to find if and how much money you want to earn as a trip leader. So you know best how much time you've invested into planning the trip. So don't be reluctant to take money, but the amount should be still a little reasonable. So usually our users take about 30 to 60 euros, depending on how much time and effort it was to plan everything.
Yes, just a little side note on the top of the calculated costs, we will add our commission, like from our platform. As you can see, this is also very transparently visible to your potential trip mates. And obviously, as a trip leader, you don't pay anything. So this commission is put on top of what you set as price for the trip mates. And yeah, as a trip leader, it's for free for you to use the platform. And you have also like the security that your trip mates basically join and they pay accordingly. And because, yeah, if you travel paying with people you don't know and organize everything beforehand, if they say, yeah, I'm gonna pay it with PayPal like one day before, maybe it's not the best way to do it. So that's basically the solution of our platform. So, and here in the end, you will see the trip mates will see the total trip price on your trip page, and the trip mates don't see exactly how those costs are divided. So if you want to be transparent about your costs, your trip leader fee, you can also put it in the description and you can add that info here. And just as a quick side note here, we do have some good news. We have like an app now, and I'm very excited that we just launched it. It's available only for our Android users, but we will also have it for iOS soon. So we will also post the link now into the chat for those who are interested.
Yeah, that's such a shame because I am an iOS person, but yeah, even I can't wait for me to start using it. But yeah, so the next topic that we will be talking about is security, because that's super important for us. So every trip gets scanned by our team. So all of the trip leaders need to verify their profile with IDs.
Yes, so TripLeaders also need to verify phone numbers and emails so that you have like, you know that you talk to a real person. And what TripLeaders or everyone actually has to do is to connect the bank account so that we can handle the payments over Stripe. This is one of the biggest payment providers. And so the payments are safe and secure. And we have also 24/7 customer support team for you during your travels and before, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and last but not the least, it's travel insurance. So another reason why you should make sure that everyone books through the platform is that you will be automatically covered by travel insurance. So at the moment, it is only applicable to German and Austrian nationals, but we are working on to add more countries soon, and it's going to be available. Now that we have created a perfect trip and we know that everything is secure, so what happens after I have created the perfect trip, Robin?
Yes, so now that your trip is perfect, like you said, you just have enough people that want to join. And of course, that's how we as JoinMyTrip support you. So we promote your trip on our social media channels and in our newsletter. Our whole site is SEO optimized so that a lot of interested travelers will find your trip on Google. And your trip can be promoted on our site where we have over 100,000 interested visitors every month. And AK, last but not least.
Yes, the most important one, we are always here for you. So no matter what the problem is, our support team is only just a click away. So every trip leader gets a code trip leader. So you have one-on-one support as soon as your trip is published, and everyone in the team has one. So that's what we are doing to support our trip leaders. But Robin, is there something I can do to push my trip?
Yes, so there is actually a really simple and efficient way we always recommend it. A good way to advertise your trip is the use of Facebook groups. We have some groups that are connected to JoinMyTrip directly. The biggest one is with 35,000 members. So feel free to join our groups and to inform the others about your trip. So what you can also do is to use general travel groups, but we recommend to post some of the specific groups too. You can find them by typing in some search suggestions as you see them on the slides. And there are more than enough groups for every destination and for every type of traveling, like you see here, camping, backpacking, or different countries. So here are some groups that we have good experience with. So yes, and the question is now, what should we post exactly in those groups?
Yeah, I can help you with that. So in general, keep it short. So answer the following questions. Who are you? What do you want to do? When? And who you are searching for. So important thing is that sharing links in those groups is generally not allowed. So be very watchful of that. And emojis always help. So we have a colleague who loves to use emojis in Facebook groups, and she's been very successful with that. So definitely emojis will help.
Yes, as you said, our colleague really was always successful with those Facebook groups, and she almost always like filled her trips like in a very short time. So
yeah. So this is all, I mean, hopefully this got you excited to possibly plan your own trip as a trip leader as well. But if some of you aren't sure on how to start, then let's tell everyone about the support that we offer. So if you want, you can also book a 15-minute slot with our travel expert. So they are more than happy to share their knowledge in a one-on-one session. So you can, again, our colleague would give the link to that in the chat.
Yes, I really like that we're doing this now. So actually, yeah, we have looked at, we have covered like most of the things here in this webinar, but if you're still unsure, like tomorrow, just feel free to book an appointment, like one-to-one, and they could also help to set up a trip and explain it again. But Akshaya, besides normal trips, you also have other kind of trips on our platform, right?
Yes, so these are co-working trips, a special way of traveling. It's becoming very famous in our community, especially during the COVID times. So what is a co-working trip? So you search for a group of other remote workers joining you to work and travel at the same time. So this is super nice if you don't have too many vacation days in a year.
Yes, for those among you who are more interested in becoming a digital nomad or simply like remote working or a co-working trip, we have a travel talk provided more details about how to plan and organize those kind of trips, and we will answer all the questions you might have about it. So lastly, we rely on your feedback.
Yes, you're right, Robin, because feedback is super important for us and we are constantly working on improving our travel talks. So we would be very happy if you could fill out the feedback form, which we will send now into the chat. It only takes a minute and we'll send you the slides of this presentation if you fill out the form, and also a chance to win 20 euros off your next trip with us.
Yes, we hope you guys have enjoyed, but we have a lot of other events planned soon. You can check them all if you like here on our event page. So some of our upcoming trips include the already mentioned Digital Nomad Travel Talk on Wednesday. And we also have kind of a Iceland travel inspiration talk prepared for you. So we will present you information about the country and traveling into the country. And we will present also an already planned itinerary of it.
Perfect. So now we are here to the final aspect of this presentation. So it's the questions time. Yeah, so it's enough of talking from our side and we'll hand over the stage to you guys. So feel free to ask any questions about anything in general or specific about your trip. So this way others can also profit from it as well. And you can also ask your questions in the